Hi, this is the series where we discover how to build a world eater. This is the chapter 2, and today we need to go deeper. In the previous video, we encountered two problems. One is the liquids that prevent TNT from destroying blocks, and another one is that TNT can't dig a hole deeper than 85 blocks. Today we are going to solve the second problem. We'll build a version of the World Eater that can move downwards. First, we need to figure out how to push the side segments down. I know two ways to do it. The simplest one is to use a redstone block. You need to attach a redstone block to the flying machine. When machine arrives at the station, the redstone block activates a downwards facing piston. And we can use this to lower the entire segment. Of course, we can't move the piston while it's powered. Let's add another piston here that will push the block to the side to disable the initial piston. Later we'll replace it with a scheme that will send the flying machine back. And the top part simply pushes the initial piston down with a delay to let piston transit to unpowered state. The second one is a bit more complicated, but has advantages over the first one. You need to make a segment of the flying machine with a separated piston. This approach is widely used in tunnel boring machines. We need one node block, one observer, and one piston. Node block activates the observer, and observer activates the piston. Piston moves both observer and node block. And when observer is triggered by moving, it doesn't activate the piston, since piston is out of range. After that, we just need to reset the position, and this can be done by placing another piston with an observer here. That's it, and there is no need to apply any additional delays here. Let's assemble everything. First we need the flying machine. Let's use one from the previous video. Here, to stop the duper part on both sides, we need to use segments that can move down. If we use glazed terracotta, we need to have free space at the top of the block to place the piston here. And there is no other way to push the glazed terracotta down. And here we don't have such space. What we can use here is honey. For the other side, we have exposed non-sticky blocks on the duper, so we can simply use a non-sticky blocks here. On one side, we need to push down not only the side segments, but also the flying machine. To push it down, we need to place the pistons above the slime, in case of the machine segment. For the duper, the only correct place is above the minecart. All other places will lead to detachment and explosion of TNT block. As you can see, we need to take into account that the movement triggers the observers, and they activate the pistons. We can stand against this or use it and send the car back immediately after pushing down. To do this, we need to push this segment last, so when it's down, it activates the piston and the machine launches. Okay, now we need to add a place for the starter piston and link everything together. There are two types of connections we can use here, pull and push. Since we are moving down, the pull pistons should always be facing up and the push pistons should always be facing down. So the simple rule for this section is that all pistons facing up are sticky and have no gap, and all pistons facing down are non-sticky and have one block gap. The only exception is the piston that will be powered with redstone block. It should be facing down and have no gap. First, these two pistons can be placed in one segment. Of course, we need to power them. And then the segment with this piston will push the previous one. Here is the very first segment that will be pushed by the starter piston. For now I will put an obsidian as placeholder. Need to connect these two segments. Now we need to link the honey segment. Go up and add piston here. Aha, here we can save a little. And the last thing, we need to push the starter piston down. Let's attach here. Better go up here. Let's quickly check that all the segments are not larger than 12 blocks. 11, 6, 11, 12, 12, 11. Oh, okay, fine. Hope it works. With these machines you need to double check them to make sure everything is fine. Now we need to do something similar on this side. Here we only need to push down the side segment without the machine, so we need to use a scheme to send the car back without moving it down. Let's use here the second scheme of stepper. The starter block here is the observer, it triggers the node block. Let's log this section for a moment. The bottom segment is ready. To run the machine, we'll power this piston from upside. That's it. Great. Now we can attach an TNT here and test it. This seems to work fine, but here we need trenches. This design can dig the space under the side modules by itself, so we need to take care of that manually. We also need to know the width of the main trench. It is not infinite, and ideally you want to build a segment no wider than 7 blocks. And now it is time for scaling. It took 3 hours to dig this hole. I made 4 trenches before the run, 3 of them 3 blocks wide and 1 6 blocks wide. But it seems like 1 4 blocks wide trench might be enough. At the beginning there were a lot of flying blocks that didn't explode. That's because such a machine needs to be placed at the limit of the TNT explosion distance, and this machine was much lower than required. There was also no water, but only because I removed it before the run. In the real case, it's still a huge problem. The next goal is to learn how to remove liquids automatically. But at least we fortunately reached a bedrock level. Let's stop at this milestone and see you in the next episode. Thank you.